All right, and we're live once again, baby. So, hey, Andy here, and finally figured out the whole streaming issue. So, yeah, originally it wasn't set to public, so totally forgot about that. But it's fine because all y'all just missed like sound check, so don't even have to go through 8 to 9 minutes of me combing through settings and stuff. So that's Q. Through 8 to 9 minutes of me combing through settings. Awesome, cool. So we got the comments all set up here. Originally I had like a whole comment section and stuff set up on this live stream on the old OBS, on the old laptop, but I haven't got that set up yet. So all you get is just a webcam and my screen in Premiere. Unfortunately, I can't do a display capture for some reason. I don't know what the deal is. I thought it was just an old my laptop issue, but it might be something in settings. But regardless, I'll troubleshoot that later. So we're just going to do window capture. So the thing is with that, or with this, is that you can't see any of the pop-ups, pop-up windows when I'm adjusting settings, unfortunately. Tried getting it working, but to no avail so far. So that's something we're going to have to do afterwards if we're going to keep doing these. So, let's go ahead. I got the comments up on my phone, so I can just look through those while we're dealing with stuff on screen here. So how you guys doing today? Me, I'm doing pretty good. I have about an hour or so before I gotta get going, so figured just come on, stream a little bit, because I find that like mornings for me in Japan are like the best time to stream because I'm the most lucid and you guys are around, so that's cool. I was thinking about streaming like at night, which would be most of my audience's morning, but like that's when my brain starts to shut down, you know, so even if I did manage to stay up to like stream, I'd be like so anyway. Hey, what's up, Mr. Lumixia, my bad. So what am I doing now that I'm out of the Navy? How much time you have? So basically the TLDR version is, right now I'm a study abroad student out in Japan, going to a school based in Tokyo, but due to old Clone World Tour, we're doing online classes, so I haven't like physically been to a class since March? I want to say maybe late February, early March, somewhere in there. So I've basically just been here, you know. I was living in another guest house before. I was living in a box, baby. But decided to move out so I could get my own space, so I can work on stuff in private. And it's been very enjoyable living out here. So my plan is to continue my education out here on the GI Bill. But with my school, right now they only have a 2-year degree program, but they're starting up a 4-year degree program. So my plan is to, for me it's not that expensive. Like everybody thinks, you know, oh, you live in Tokyo. Well, I mean technically I live in Kawasaki now. I used to live in Tokyo. But yeah, a lot of people think that living in Japan is very expensive, and it can be, definitely, especially if you want to live like an American in Japan. You're definitely going to be paying for it, for sure. But you know, the thing I love about Japan is that there's a lot of frugal ways to live out here. Like for me, I live in a share house. Ugh, goodness. So like I have my own private room, bed, like ungodly amounts of closet space and stuff, and I only pay about what would the equivalent be, like 430, 440 bucks a month, somewhere in there. Utilities are all included as well. So that's a plus. Let me readjust that camera there we go. So I can run the air conditioner as much as I want during the summertime, and nobody gonna say anything, which is really nice. Because when I was stationed out in Yokosuka several years back, I got a pretty nice apartment, and the electricity bill was just through the roof. So yeah, thankfully I don't have to pay for that living here in the guest house. Yeah, I pay about 440 bucks a month to live out here. I get my own private room. I have to share, some common areas like a bathroom. They have like little shower areas and a kitchen and stuff like that. But most of the time, I'm just in here in my room working on stuff or going to class or whatever. So it's fine. Sorry, fussing with the camera too much. Just want to make sure it's all lined up. But yeah, if you just look around for good living situations, it's like way cheaper to live out here than to live in America, to be honest with you. When I first got out, I went to school out in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and you had to make like 3 times what the rent was, and like most places were charging you like 600 bucks for a 1-bedroom apartment. That's like bare minimum, and it was just like, I don't know. Do I ever want to go back to the Navy life? Nah, man, I'm good. I'm gonna be 35 in a couple months, so yeah, I'm too old for that shit now, man. Even if I wanted to go back, it's just, yeah, And plus, since I, went through the Navy already, it's like if I go back, it's almost like going back to high school in a way. It's like, I did my time. I had a lot of shit times. I had some good times as well. But ultimately, it was just a time in my life, and now that time's over, and I'm super okay with it, man. Some things that I do miss from being in the Navy, obviously the steady paychecks on the 1st and 15th are pretty nice, not gonna lie. Although I kind of sort of get that with the GI Bill on the 1st of the month. But yeah, steady paychecks are pretty good. BAH, which I got when I made E5, that was really nice. Got me my own apartment in Japan, overlooking the ocean, so that was fucking dope. But just the work that I was doing, it was one of those things, man, where like a lot of people that I worked with were like super passionate about what they did, and like I liked what I did, but I wasn't like in love with what I did and let it like consume my entire life. I had plans to do other things, and it was just one of those environments where if you're not like with it 100%, then you're just considered a shitbag and nobody gives a fuck about you, and they're just really willing to like cast you aside. So it was just like super discouraging, So but I do miss, the people and kind of the camaraderie of things. So what were you doing for work? Oh, I was a sonar tech, STG. That was my rate. So basically, hunt, track, classify subsurface contacts, submarines, stuff like that. Um, it was actually pretty chill in port, but underway was, the grind was pretty brutal because you'd be staying to watch a whole lot. And this was before they changed the watch rotation in 7th Fleet after those 2 collision accidents with the McCain and Fitz. So now hopefully it's a little better, but I haven't been in for like 5 years at this point, so I don't know. But okay, just dismiss that one, so right. But now, like, I'm actually now for work. This is what I do. I edit videos, not just for YouTube, but for other platforms as well. We're making a big push. One of the companies I work for is making a big push for Instagram TV, IGTV. So I've just been putting together videos for them as well, which is actually what I'm good. But words. Which is actually where I'm going to be going next after I'm done with this live stream. Got to go to work after I get done with work, right? But considering how much I work on this stuff, like, you have to love it, And this is something that I'm really passionate about. And this is actually what I want to do for a living, ultimately, when it's all said and done, is make videos for a living. And originally I thought that meant, like, be a YouTuber. Yeah, I work for a couple companies, actually. But for one company I work as an editor. Another one I work as just a shooter. Then I just hand my footage off to an editor, which is actually pretty relaxing because that company usually wants, like, same day or next day turnover for edited stuff. And I'm like, I got school and other stuff, man. Like, I can't be sitting at a computer with you over my shoulder for 2 hours putting stuff together. Let somebody else do that, So it did mean a bit of a pay cut for me, though, but I think it was definitely worth it for a lot less stress. But yeah, man, I do freelance video editing for a couple companies and some other clients, like Eriopolis 6 here, which is who I'm editing the video for today. And yeah, I don't want to discuss pay on stream, but it varies depending on the client. And even of the low-paying clients, I can usually get the videos done pretty quickly. So even if they only pay me, say, $40 to $50 per video, if I can get the videos out quickly, like within a couple hours, I mean, even in like 2 or 3 hours, that's like what, if it's $50, like $25 an hour, right? If I get it done in 2 hours. So yeah, I'd say there's definitely potential in it. Right now I'm kind of on that tipping point of being able to, well, I can't technically do it full time because I'm on a student visa, so I have to limit my hours and whatnot. But yeah, the pay is definitely good, I think. Be able to switch to doing it full time once school's all wrapped up, and that's the goal anyway. So kind of the disadvantage with it, though, is you gotta live where a lot of the big players are in terms of people who are willing to pay for video. Like, originally I thought that I could just live in like a cheap ass town in the Midwest back in Mercagen land, and that's how I originally started as a freelancer, getting a couple gigs here and there just with people I networked when I was stationed out in Japan. That's how I got the gig with Eriopolis 6. So this is what I'm studying in school. No, I'm not studying this in school. Right now I'm just working out some of the last of my gen eds. And then eventually I'm going to be switching to a communications major. Well, technically it'll be business administration with an emphasis in communications. So, whatever. So this is something I will be studying in school, which is kind of interesting because I've been doing this for like 4 going on 5 years as a freelancer. I've been like editing videos since like 2008. So when I was doing stuff for my own YouTube channel, I still do YouTube videos, obviously, but as far as doing it professionally, getting paid to do it, that started back in 2016 when I went back to school, because one of my former friends reached out to me because his hard drive had crashed and he was doing daily content, and I offered to put his videos together until he got his thing figured out, and he liked that he didn't have to sit there for hours and put stuff together, so he brought me on as his editor and then introduced me to some people, and I was like, I can make a career out of this. Because I hadn't considered doing freelance work for a living. I just thought I was just going to make it on my own, just working on my own YouTube channel. But would you want to do this freelance as a career, work for a company? That's a tough one. Because there's benefits to both, right? Like, doing freelance work gives me a lot more creative freedom, flexibility. I can work for multiple companies on different projects and kind of diversify my portfolio, as it were. And if it's not working out with a client, I can just like simply refuse them and then just move on to something else. But working for a company does offer a lot of stability, which freelancing, the reason I haven't gone full time, aside from the visa issues, is just because with freelancing, a lot of times it's when you're starting out, it's feast or famine. So there's times where I get like just a shit ton of gigs, and I'm just like swamped and overwhelmed with how many people want videos and stuff. And then after I get them all done, then everybody ghosts me for like a month or two, and I get nothing. So it was really hard for me to make any sort of living off of it at first. Originally it was just kind of like a side thing that I would do in addition to going to school and going to work a real job. Whereas working for a company, you'd have set hours. Some have salaries, but most of the time it's hourly wage or day rates, or however they shake it out to be. So there is some stability in that. So it's, yeah, I'd say. I think for me, the ideal balance would be to have kind of like part-time work for a company, just so that way I have like a nice, steady, consistent paycheck, and then do freelance on the side to kind of make up for the difference. So, if freelancing is a little low that month or whatever, I can just pick up some hours at my company. But if, freelancing is, if I'm hot and heavy in freelancing, then I can kind of scale back at the company a little bit. So that's why I liked working. Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of people don't want to work weekends, which is kind of the problem I'm having with one of the companies I work with, because that's like prime grind time for me. Because during the week I'm usually pretty busy with school, so I can't work on stuff. And that's another thing, actually. The fun thing I love about freelancing is I don't have to like physically go anywhere. I can just do everything here. I have to physically like show up to an office and all this other stuff. So, if I was back in America, I wouldn't have to worry about getting a car. Here in Japan, I take the trains, so I don't have to worry about getting on the trains and getting all sandwiched in between all the salarymen and all this kinds of stuff. So, yeah, I can just work on like multiple projects from here. And plus, commute time definitely takes into a lot of prime earning time. So like I can work on a project from here, and then once I'm done here, I just switch to another project or whatever the case, without having to be like, okay, I'm done with this project, now I gotta hop on the train for like an hour and a half or whatever. Actually, it's about an hour. But do they use something like Dropbox to send you? Most clients use Google Drive. I've had a couple clients in the past use Dropbox, but at the time it was pretty limited in storage and like how much you could send. So that would mostly just be for like podcasting gigs for Dropbox. But most of my clients use Google Drive, and I pay for like the higher storage and stuff, so I don't have to worry about it. One client likes to use WeTransfer though, which is kind of annoying because even though I have WeTransfer Pro, I have to like break up all the clips and stuff into smaller baby chunks rather than just I'm gonna put it all in the folder and here you go. So for me personally, I prefer Google Drive just because you can organize it better without having to send the client like a shit ton of links. You just send them one link and organize the folders and stuff, and bam, there you go. But just need fast internet speed download all those files. Yeah, right? Well, thankfully in most places you can get them pretty fast, so it's not as much of an issue. But you know, like right now I'm just using Ethernet, so like speed is not an issue with me at all. But you know, I've gone to like McDonald's and used free Wi-Fi to download and upload stuff because of issues at home. Not going to get into in this live stream, but had some problems at home several years back. Thankfully everything's fine now, but at the time things were a little tense and the internet got cut off for me, and had to still do business, right? So I just get in my car, like drive to the McDonald's, and it's the same McDonald's I worked at too, so it was just kind of fucking weird. You know, like I just sit there. Sometimes I bring my work uniform with me and just like download and upload stuff while like sitting in my car. And yeah. And like as shit as it was working at McDonald's, one of the nice things about it was again the flexibility. So like if freelancing was really kicking off, I could cut back on my work hours. But if it was, you know, if I wasn't getting as many gigs, I could, you know, take on some hours. But now I don't, you know, especially living in Japan where I'm living a lot more frugally, like I don't need to get like a job. Like I have plenty. You know, between what I get from the GI Bill and from freelancing, like fuck man, I'm good. Yeah, it's nice to be able to put some money away in savings and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. So that's why I want to stay out here, and plus that's where all my connections are out here. So definitely want to keep at it. So do you use all your own camera gear when you do filming for these gigs? Yeah, when I do filming, I use my camera gear. I don't really like using other people's stuff unless it's, you know, like specifically requested, but like that hasn't happened to me yet. So it's all just my shit. So that way I know what I'm getting myself into, and I don't have to like figure out this newfangled camera and stuff. It's just, you know, it's the same gear that I used to shoot my own videos, so, you know, there's no surprises. So the camera that I use is a Panasonic G85. It's basically like the budget version of a GH5, which is something I want to get next. Especially with everybody selling off their GH5s. I think I could snag one at a pretty reasonable price. And plus, like, I have a couple lenses for it anyway, so like all I'd need would be the body. That's it. But yeah, just the G85 is like overkill for a lot of gigs that I use, because a lot of times they just, you know, people, they have this misconception of like, oh well, it's going on the internet, so it doesn't have to be like super duper fancy. Meanwhile, I try to make it fancy. So, oh really? They are making it. I've heard rumors of them making a GH6, but I haven't heard anything like substantive about it. You know, I heard it's maybe coming out the pipes, but let me see if anything recently came out about it. Oh really? The fuck is this shit? It says here it hasn't been ruled out, but yeah, Panasonic's just been leaning into the full frame market, which is fine. You know, that's where a lot of creators are going anyway. Like a lot of the pro creators, you know, they want to lean into like full frame cameras from like Sony and Canon and stuff like that, and those are some pretty good cameras too. And like for me, I actually want to get that Sony A7C because I want to get into full frame, but I want like a smaller camera. But right now it's just like way out in my price range. So, and especially with the lenses, that's just a whole nother beast entirely. So I figured just keep it simple for now. Let's see. Yeah, let's see, GH6. Okay, cool. That's cool. I'm just looking through a GH6 rumors site. So supposedly, these are just rumors, but supposedly it'll possess a 41 megapixel sensor, which I don't know how the hell they're going to pull that off on a micro four thirds sensor. Improved image stabilization, which again, I don't know how the hell they're going to pull that off, because like Panasonic stabilization is its like selling point for me. No other camera even comes close to how good their in-body stabilization is. And then pairing that with a stabilized lens, like they have that shit down pat. 4K and 6K RAW, oh fuck. But the thing that really gets me here is new generation autofocus. So, yeah, that's Panasonic's Achilles heel is their autofocus. Now, if you use manual focus, then it's not an issue at all. But yeah, that's why it's hard for me to recommend Panasonic, even though I love Panasonic cameras. I mean, hell, if you think about it, like my first camera was a Sanyo, but Panasonic bought out Sanyo. So I guess technically, in a weird roundabout way, my first camera was Panasonic, kind of, sort of. Well, it turned into Panasonic anyway. But yeah, so that's why it's hard to recommend like the GH5 to some people, even though I want it and I think it's a fucking kick-ass camera. But yeah, just that autofocus. And I've heard with like it did like a firmware update, so supposedly it's better. I haven't handled it, so I don't know. But yeah, that's the main problem I have with my G85 is the autofocus, especially if you're moving around a lot, tends to be pretty spotty. But you know, if you have it fixed on like a tripod or something like that, and you're just doing, you know, talking head videos, it's not too bad. So yeah, so getting to the topic at hand here. So we have an upcoming Eric Mealtime vid, and I am way behind on this one actually. I just had to do some footage organization, which caused me to fall behind on this project. But yeah, normally he doesn't send me this much footage. Usually it's about 30-45 minutes at most. and I just kind of pruned it from there. But he's really been shooting like a lot of B-roll lately, so I've been wanting to incorporate that. Yeah. Well, I'd be down for the GH6 too. Like, it just makes sense for them to come out with it, especially since they've championed the Micro Four Thirds. Yeah, that's a lot of footage. Normally, he doesn't send this much, but yeah, this one he's just been like going crazy with the B-roll. Yo, MS, what's up? Are you staying in J-Land for 3021? Not gonna be alive in 3021. My God, that's all good. I'm just giving you shit. For 2021, yeah, that's the plan, man. Once I graduate, I'm gonna be on the job hunting visa, and gonna look for a job that'll sponsor me, which on a associate's degree seems kind of a fool's errand, because I've just been looking around at possibilities, and it seems largely impossible. Although I have heard that some graduates from my university have found employment, so I think it just mostly comes down to who you know, and working for one of the companies that I do, they're looking to sponsor my visa, but the weird thing is I don't know like what the legality of it is. If I had a bachelor's degree, like this would be like no problem at all. But because I have an associate's, the Japanese don't really recognize associates as like a real degree. Not that America does either, but so I don't know, like from the employer end, if it's possible, even if they want to sponsor you. But that's something that I'm gonna be working with one of the companies that I work for, is seeing if they can sponsor me. So we'll see how that goes. Because they want to sponsor me. It's just a matter on if they can. And the Japanese immigration is so vague that I can't really find anything substantive. But they have immigration experts. They can make it happen. So.
Look at that. That looks delicious.
How do I see my life going for you in J-Land? The next 5 years? Oh, excuse me. Been on the mint. Well, hopefully I can get myself a nice little waifu. And maybe have some kids and stuff. I definitely want to have kids someday. But since I'm getting older, that someday is, the window for that someday is starting to close a bit. So, but I have a little bit more. I have a little bit of time. But yeah, the next 5 years, yeah, I definitely want to get married, have some kids. But in order for me to do that, I need to get steady employment. So that's why I'm really pushing to work for this company, so I can work for them full time.
It's in a glass bottle. Finally, what's that last one? Tea. Tofu tea, really?
Let's see.
Finally, what's that last one? Tea.
Okay, so what we're gonna do, it's not too loud, is it, the background stuff? I tried lowering the volume, but I don't know if it's too loud for you guys. Just let me know.
Finally, what's that last one?
Yep. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna use this as B-roll. And how do you look for jobs in J-Land? Is there job fairs? There's both. There are job fairs, obviously with with what's going on right now. They're not like in person like they usually are. but they do have like online like Zoom job fairs.
Tofu tea, really? Okay. Really?
So I'd basically just like sign up for these job fairs and attend like the Zoom version of them. Oh fuck, why did I do that? It's the opposite. There we go. So
Tofu tea, really? Tofu tea, really?
oh, nice. So we'll put that up a little bit.
Really?
Okay.
Really?
Okay, cool. That matched up a lot better than I thought it would. So that's good. But yeah, most of the jobs, like if you were to look, you'd probably find plenty of job opportunities on like Gaijin Pod or whatever the case. You know, if you're just looking for some gigs, you know, like doing English teaching or something like that. For me, like I'm not one of those guys that's like above teaching English. I just like don't, because I have plenty of other like freelance video editing gigs to keep me going. And you know, with the connections I made, it's you know, I don't really need to get myself an English teaching job unless it be for like a visa or something like that. But you know, even then, a couple of my friends are able to stay here without teaching English, so I know it's doable. So what we got here? Shit. Okay. Yeah, jeez. So. Okay. I should have forgot the.
Tofu tea, really?
Have to back that one up a bit. Yeah, we'll just back that one up.
Tofu tea, really?
Okay, so we'll get to the drop. Up there. And it doesn't like show the camera, damn it. Or actually, guess what we'll do is, come on, there we go. So we'll just show them like pulling it out and then we'll move on. Or, bam. There's. Oh man. But yeah, it's pretty easy to find jobs out in Japan if you know where to look. You know, like I would recommend like best thing to do is just increase your network. And this also goes for like job hunting, you know, beyond just Japan, because you never know who's hiring, and a lot of times, you know, there's people who are hiring who don't put their shit up on job boards. You know, they just know somebody who knows somebody who's looking for some help, and that's where I come in, especially with video editing. You know, like that's how I found pretty much all my gigs was through word of mouth from my network. So if you can get that going, shit, man, you don't have to go to a single job board. You know, like I've never gone. I mean, I've gone to like look, but like I've never gone to a job board in Japan for a job and got hired by them. You know, like I'd apply, but you know, especially without a bachelor's degree, nobody really gives a shit. So, if you have that bachelor's degree, man, like they gonna be looking for you. So, but as far as like you know, if you're a student or whatever and want to get some part-time work, some arbaito stuff, like that's pretty easy to get too. Most students, you know, they work at like Combini or McDonald's or you know, kind of the same shit that American students do. You know, just work at you know a shitty minimum wage retail or fast food job. So you can do the same shit out here too. And you can also, you know, some schools allow you to work on campus. Obviously, with what's going on, that's not really a possibility. But once things clear up, you know, the option's there. So.
All right, let's go find a place to eat. Okay. All right.
Oh, oops.
All right, let's go find a place to eat. Go find a place to eat.
Right there. Cool. So. Okay, cool.
All right, let's go find a place to eat.
Yeah, we'll just skip that one. I mean, I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like, you know. That's why I also want to do some more shooting for Eric as well, just because, like, I want to go and get some good B-roll and all that stuff. But just a matter of schedules matching up. So.
Here's a look at all the stuff.
Is there a...
It's a darker side. This is the big one, the big heavy one here. Here's a look at all the stuff.
Right, so slap that on, slap on the add a transfer.
Place to eat. Here's a look at all the stuff.
Alright.
This is
Alright.
the stuff. This is the big one, the big heavy one here. Yeah, look at that. This is isaebi. It's jumbo shrimp. Jumbo shrimp. Jumbo shrimp. Jumbo shrimp.
Okay.
Shrimp tofu. Oh my goodness. Interesting. This one. Not sure. Oyama. Tanzawa Oyama. Goemon. The darker side. Not sure. Interesting. This one. Not sure. Turns out. Shrimp. Tanzawa Oyama. Goemon. The darker shrimp. Tanzawa Oyama.
Okay, so cut that one. Wait.
This one is sesame seed.
Okay, cool. So
Shrimp. This one is.
okay, so
Oh, shrimp. This one is sesame seed tofu. That's gonna have a sweetness to it, I think. So, I think. And then this is natto for.
alrighty.
Sweetness to it, I think. And then this is natto fermented stinky beans. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum. Tofu donuts. Yeah, looking good. Wow. Tofu.
Damn, jeez. Let's see here.
Yum. Tofu donuts. Yeah, looking good. All right, let's start out with this one first. Oh, and the drinks. What else did we get here? Donuts. Gotta have show you. Donuts. Gotta have shoyu on your tofu for sure. So it's nice that they sell that in the machine too. And then this is soy milk, which is pretty rare in Japan, I think. I've never bought it before, but interesting it's coming from the factory. You know this is going to be good. And then this is kind of an interesting novelty item. It is tofu tea. No calories, no sugar. So, tofu tea. Tea. No calories, no sugar, no caffeine. No caffeine. Okay. Let's get into this one first. Let's get caffeine. Let's get into this one first. The shrimp, tofu, shrimp flavored. Not sure how this works. Put that inside. Oh, so I see this is ebidashi, so this is the shrimp soup stock, I guess, that you put on top. I'm gonna put it on top, it's gonna roll off.
Okay, that's good. That's a good line. Okay. See there.
All right, so
check something here real quick. Okay. So, alright. Dang, and all that, and we're only that far. That's the thing about editing, man. It's, it can take a while. But the fun thing is, once you get past a lot of these little chunks and get to the big chunks, it actually goes by pretty quickly. So there's times where, you know, you're just like killing it through footage. Because I'm sure not all these are, you know, the take. So there's a lot of multiple takes in there. So, you know, once you remove those, it makes sifting through the footage pretty fast. Then you get the ones where it's like, you know, the main parts of the video, and it's just, you know, you gotta cut out the fat and go from there. Well, I would love to stay and edit some more, but I gotta get going. Oh, goodness. So, what do we got? You get charged by the hour for something like this. Some jobs I do, it just depends on the arrangement that we come up with. I'm going a lot slower on stream than I normally do. Normally I'm just like a lot faster with it, but you know, I also want to be cognizant of comments and stuff. So I don't want to be totally engrossed and then miss out on like 16 comments. So plus, like, obviously breaking down like what I do for some cuts. That might be a, you know, a future series idea, I think. You know, I know there's some YouTube editors that do something like that, so that can make for a pretty good series. Yeah, it looks like it would take all day. Yeah, some of them do. I'll be honest with you, some of them do. But this particular one, because it's so long, we negotiated a different rate, so it's a lot more reasonable. But yeah, normally they're about, you know, 25, 35 minutes of raw footage, so about an hour less than this. So those are actually pretty easy to sift through. You know, it's more straightforward. So you can just, because, you know, especially for me, since I've edited for Eric for so long, I kind of know instinctively like what beats to cut on, what to cut out, what to focus on, stuff like that. So it's pretty easy for me to sift through and figure out what's needed. But for something like this, because there's so much B-roll and some other stuff, we also got to sift through music as well, which thankfully I have an expanded soundtrack list that he gave me. So I have to go hunting for music and try to figure out what he likes and then send it to him. He's like, I don't really like that song. So I just left it up to him for him to pick out some songs that he likes, so I don't have to guess and stuff like that. Just pop it in and go. But yeah, I definitely want to be a bit more hands-on and like shoot for him and stuff, but just a matter of schedules matching up. Because like the one video that I did the whole thing for, both shooting and editing, was the collaboration he did with Aaron from the Bento Buster channel when they were making the steak smash burgers. That was pretty good. If I had to do it again, I would have changed some of the exposure levels of things, but que sera. But yeah, I definitely want to go and do like these vending machine runs, because you know there's a lot of B-roll and stuff I could take to really make these turn out well. But that's just me. There's, especially sitting down and editing these, there's a lot of things that I see that I want to put into practice, but it's kind of hard to like do backseat directing or editing or whatever. Because a lot of creatives, they don't like to hear how to do something, because it sounds kind of accusatory. They'd rather see it in practice and be like, oh, I kind of like that. Plus it, makes you look better because you've actually shown that, hey, I can do this. I can wipe my ass, Dad. I'm a real boy working a real job. But anyway, guys, I gotta get going to get to my job. So, anyway, I just want to thank you guys for tuning into this little impromptu live stream. My headphones on my head, as I do. And with that said, guys, this is the Andy-san. Signing for now. And as always, forever, we'll see you next time. Catch you later, guys. Bye.